You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. Once again, we are here today, and man, we are in for a special treat. We have the one and only, this guy right here. You need to know about him, because if you don't, then you've been underneath a rock too long. We have the one, Parker Kligerman. He is NASCAR driver and TV analyst. We're going to be talking about all about the NASCAR Xfinity Series on the CW. Guess what? It's going to kick off February 15th. That's tomorrow, Daytona International Speedway. First and foremost, man, Parker, thanks for your time. How are you doing today, man?
Appreciate it, bud. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, it's a big weekend for NASCAR and a big weekend for the Xfinity Series, kicking off on the CW all year.
You are always on the move. I don't know how you sleep or have time to think, but kind of educate our audience a little bit about what they can expect in the Xfinity Series, because it's going to be very exciting.
Right, yeah, I appreciate it. It's always a busy time. I try to mix a lot of things, but for the Xfinity Series, if you're new to NASCAR, it is sort of the development series and second tier series, but it's sort of developed its identity of its own over the last couple of years, where you have a mix of veterans who, unlike other sports, this is kind of where they will make their career. In the Xfinity Series, it is a professional series, and then you have a bunch of up and comers as well. So you get this sort of mix of guys who want to go to the Cup Series, some who are content staying in the Xfinity Series and want to be there for their career, and so how they mix and mesh is really interesting. There's 33 races around the country and in Mexico. That is probably one of the more diverse schedules in all motorsports, between super speedways, short tracks, road courses, and all sorts of different tracks in between, even street courses. So it's quite a diverse series, and I think it's probably one of the coolest racing series in America, because it just has awesome cars, great mix of personalities, and really cool tracks. And we kick it off, as you mentioned, tomorrow here at Daytona, which is the biggest race of the year. And not only because it gets probably the most people watching, the biggest amount of people in the stands, and it's the day before the Daytona 500. But one thing for people to understand that this race means a lot is that it pays about 2.5 times more than any other race all year. So if you want to win one, this is the one that can mean a lot in many different ways.
What's beautiful is audience tuning in. They can catch all this available in action on the CW app. If you want to catch a live practice, live driver cam, live Xfinity Series races, you can get on the CW app. And also, if you want to catch your local listing, you can find it on the CWTV.com/channel-finder. And just enter your zip code. So it's going to be very exciting being a NASCAR driver, knowing how everything flows and everything from your crew. What some of the insights that you have advantage of to just create this very exclusive behind the scenes for our audience to be able to appreciate what's actually going on during these races?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about NASCAR is people like to say sometimes, if they're new to it or if they haven't watched before, is, well, I drive a car. How hard can it be? They're just going in circles. And, that could not be more wrong. The thing about NASCAR is it's incredibly complex. And what I like to tell people about driving race cars is that, for all of you that have driven road cars and you think like, I went on this off ramp a little fast, or like I was going fast on the highway, whatever, please stay below the speed limit, of course. You're probably using 1% to 5% of your car's capability. What we do in race cars as professional race car drivers is use 100% of the car's capability every corner of every lap. And that means balancing the car on a complete knife edge of disaster and spinning out and wrecking and that sort of thing, while trying to do it better than 35 other people on the racetrack at the same time. So it's a battle. It's a battle between yourself and your race car. It's a battle between yourself, your race car, and other race cars. And at the end of the day, you're trying to prove that you're the fastest driver there on that day, and fastest team. And so it's like other sports, there's a massive competitive element to it. But what separates it, I think, from any other sport, and why I love motorsports, is that you're asking this inanimate object to do something it absolutely doesn't want to do. And you're trying to do that at the, just complete knife edge of disaster and lap after lap. And you have to fight internally between your mind saying, this is bad, this is scary, why are we doing this? And overcome that and go as fast as you possibly can. And so it's just a really cool experience. And for us getting to watch it on the CW all year, it's something where you can really find drivers that you sort of gravitate to, find just fall in love with the series. And I think the cool thing is you'll know where to find it. As you mentioned, it's always on the CW every weekend, the NASCAR Xfinity Series in 2025. And so it's just, it's a really cool time for the Xfinity Series to have this platform and to know that for fans to know that they can always find it on the CW.
We're having true honor talking to the one and only Parker Kligerman all about the NASCAR Xfinity Series on the CW. And my next question for you is, man, you've been part of the NASCAR's evolution both on and off the track. How do you see the sport changing in the next 5 years?
That's a great question. It has changed a ton probably in the last just decade, even more so probably in the last 5 years in terms of its, the drivers and the personalities you see in the race cars, the teams that you've seen come in with, new teams in the Cup Series like Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin starting a team, and Trackhouse with Justin Marks and Pitbull, and just a lot of interest in outside other sports and outside of NASCAR that want to be a part of it because it's a cool time for motorsports. I think people are really intrigued by it. I think the idea of driving fast and doing that competitively, and with all the access you get with partners like the CW, and you mentioned being able to watch the live onboard cams on the app, like that's the sort of thing that 10 years ago was tough to find, and now it's just expected. And you get that access, you get that chance to see so much more of the sport. And through social media, you get to learn about the drivers and their personalities more than ever before. And so it's just it's a cool time. And, I think people like to say it's almost like next gen NASCAR, right? Not the NASCAR you knew 25, 30 years ago. It's younger, it's more diverse. And, there's many examples of that. And one of the largest examples, I think, is just when you look at the schedule, which when across motorsports, if there's F1 fans out there or IndyCar fans, one of the things that NASCAR for years was known was just to be on ovals, but it now has more road courses than many other series and street courses and just the most diverse schedule possible. So I just think it's a super cool time if you're, even remotely interested in the idea of fast cars and watching people try to put them, drive them faster than others. Then the NASCAR Xfinity Series is one of the best places to put your focus and try and, get in the sport even more than before. But it's, I think, a just overall exciting time for NASCAR right now. And, you're seeing that with the TV ratings and the attendance and just the overall sort of sentiment I see across social media that it's, it's a great time. If you're thinking about looking into the sport and want to learn more, it's a great time to get involved.
One last quick question for you. With the CW broadcasting all 33 races, you are joining the broadcast team of Adam and Jamie. What do you think fans can expect from these group with you in the booth?
Yeah, Adam Alexander's a pro, one of the best play-by-plays in all of motorsports in America. Jamie McMurray, a Daytona 500 winner in some of the biggest races in NASCAR Cup Series, has a ton of knowledge, and he's a super cool guy who, has some funny quips. And then there's me, hopefully I can hold up my end of the bargain. I don't know. But I think, you'll find that we're going to have a lot of fun with this. And one of the coolest things with the Xfinity Series being on the CW is that we really get to dive deep into the series, into the stories, the personalities, that sort of thing that hasn't really been the case in the past as it sort of jumped around from network to network. So I think you'll learn more if you've been watching the Xfinity Series for years. You'll learn more about it than you ever have before. And hopefully we make it a lot of fun along the way.
That's the one and only Parker this morning. And we're talking about the NASCAR Xfinity Series on the CW. Make sure you tune in because I'm telling you, you're going to have fun starting tomorrow, February 15th. It's going to be a good one in Florida. So first and foremost, I want to say thank you for your time, man. Have a good one.
Thank you, bud. Appreciate it.